Have you had something maybe bizarre or dangerous pop into your head and then you don't do it? It's just like a split second of that and then you're like, wow, why was I thinking that? That's crazy. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. Whether you're watching this on Halloween, happy Halloween. I hope that you have a wonderful night and stay safe. Or if you're watching this after Halloween, Halloween's really never over for those of us who love it, so enjoy it. Even though spooky season is coming to an end, I want to talk about something scary, but also serious. Now, I'm not a mental health professional or medical professional, and I would like to share it because I've dealt with these same scary thoughts. Most of us are aware of postpartum depression, baby blues, but what about scary or intrusive thoughts? Are our scary thoughts normal? For starters, at some point in our lives, we've all experienced intrusive thoughts, whether we have children or not. It is just a part of life and sometimes how the brain works. Kati Morton, a marriage and family therapist, has a whole video on intrusive thoughts. In her video, she refers to intrusive thoughts as random thoughts that kind of pop up into your head. You don't really know what to do with them. Everyone has these thoughts at some point. Again, what about newly postpartum parents? And how can these thoughts get in the way? For example, imagining your child being harmed can be an intrusive thought, whether you're doing the harming or not. These thoughts can be graphic, violent, and weird. We all probably feel very protective over our children, and we worry to some extent, and that's normal. But these intrusive thoughts can get in the way sometimes, and this can also be caused by obsessive-compulsive disorder. Kati Morton mentioned that those who struggle with intrusive thoughts also might have something called OCD or obsessive-compulsive disorder. From what I've learned as a doula, it can be something that parents experience during the postpartum period. It is called postpartum OCD. These can be some underlying factors and causes for these intrusive or scary thoughts. I'm gonna read some from Postpartum Stress Center on the subject. What I read might be triggering to some. Please turn away from this video or fast forward it if you need to. Some from Postpartum Stress Center says, scary thoughts are a very common symptom of postpartum depression and anxiety. Scary thoughts are negative, repetitive, unwanted, intrusive thoughts that can bombard you at any time. They come out of nowhere. There are different kinds of intrusive thoughts. There are different ways that we struggle with OCD. I want to share something. For example, say that maybe you're very concerned a lot that your child is going to get very sick and die. And you imagine that in your head over and over and over. So next time you feed or make your child a bottle, you wash your hands. But then you wash your hands again and again and again. And you become terrified that you're not washing your hands enough. And you still imagine there are a million germs on your hands and that you could probably get your child sick. So then it becomes that you're afraid to hold your child and comfort your child, and you ask someone else to do it, and you're kind of avoiding situations where you want to avoid your child, and maybe you even get nervous about other people washing their hands as well. This can be postpartum OCD. Another example with intrusive thoughts, some people might see a knife and instantly in their head they think, what if I just stabbed my baby? That's a real thought. I have that thought sometimes for a split second, but never act on it because it's an intrusive thought. But then you become obsessed over this thought, and the fear of harming your baby begins to rule your life and becomes too much. And it's a real fear. These thoughts don't mean that you'll do what you're thinking. It's not crazy, it's common. What matters is that you don't do it and you recognize that it's wrong. And a lot of times these things pop into our head and we don't do them and we actually become anxious about doing them, which goes further into the postpartum OCD or anxiety and depression. The good news is that there's help for these kinds of things. As an inspiring postpartum doula, I can't medicate or treat these things, but maybe I can provide resources for those who are struggling with these thoughts. And maybe I can provide some tools to help calm a person. I know that there are a lot of doulas who specifically study and train for postpartum, maybe even some mental health services. So there are doulas out there that can provide services like that, whether they're alternative treatments to what a therapist or psychiatrist would recommend. It's out there and help is out there. What's important though when reaching out for help, I know that that's very difficult and not always really possible. It's scary. I mean, you wouldn't want to say, hey, I just had a new baby and I'm having weird thoughts, because how might someone react? So this is why it's very important to find someone that you can really trust to share these thoughts with. And that could be a therapist, that could be a family member or a loved one or whoever. Just really important that it's someone that you can trust and that you feel comfortable with and no judgment from. And I know, what if others knew about your scary thoughts? It's scary to reach out to a friend. What would they do or say about you? Are you a good parent? Of course you are. Postpartum Stress Center even says this. And I watched another YouTube video. I'll link all of these links below. But in the YouTube video by Moodsmith, she explains that most parents who struggle with these intrusive thoughts are really great parents. And these thoughts don't make them bad parents whatsoever. So please, be kind to yourself. So what are some ways that a therapist can treat these thoughts or feelings that you might be having? Kati Morton suggests cognitive behavioral therapy. She says that this therapy is kind of short and there's research that backs it, and it can help treat these thoughts. Moodsmith says that not only CBT, but there are alternative treatments as well, like mindfulness and different techniques to work together in during therapy. Lately, thanks to social media, I see more and more people sharing these thoughts and making others kind of feel comfortable and providing a safe place to do this. On Postpartum Stress's website, there is information all on these thoughts, and on the same page you can share your own thoughts there as well, and you can see that you're definitely not alone. I've also met some wonderful mental health providers here on social media. Dr. Rebecca Moore from the UK, who came out for our birth trauma conference. She is an amazing birth trauma expert, and she knows some about these things as well. You can go to Birth Better's website. They have free crib sheets that familiarize with and learn some things about your postpartum experience, like if you have postpartum depression or birth trauma. And follow or subscribe to their pages. Thank you all for watching. Let me know how I'm doing in the comments. If you would like to share a scary thought with me, please do so, or you can even do it anonymously and check me out on Instagram or email me. All of my links are below.